ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Srikanth, joining you from India's startup capital Bangalore, and we have a power-packed edition over the next 20 minutes.
And I'm Krishna Kumar, coming to you live from ET Now's Mumbai studios. First up, a check on all that's making headlines here on ET Now Startup Central. All the top deals this week on our Friday funding meter powered by Venture Intelligence. While the funding tap continues to flow, investors are giving smaller amounts in a bid to make startups spend money more efficiently. What is Facebook's biggest rival Google's take on the differential pricing verdict this week? Find out on this exclusive interview with Google India's top boss, Rajananandan. Love is in the air, and so are a ton of offers from e-tailers and consumer internet companies. We get you our top picks. And what's Friday without a dose of Bollywood? Actor John Abraham talks about investing in startups on our special segment, Starstruck. On our weekly app meter powered by App Annie, we tell you about the top 3 gaming apps trending in India on both iOS as well as Android. First up to our top story and all the funding check that we need to do. Chandra, take it away. Tell us.
To the top story then, where we track all the funding that happened this week. Now, the key points to note is that though the funding tap continued for startups in terms of the number of deals and also the amount invested, what is becoming interesting is that companies are raising smaller amounts in subsequent rounds. Usually when companies go from one round of funding to the other, the quantum goes up. But interestingly, it's coming down. Now, it really points to 2 factors here. One, of course, is that VCs want to be more cautious about the amount of money they lend, and they also want startups to start getting more efficient in the way they use money. But more on all the funding, the key deals, and also the 3 key trends in the special report.
Startups fared better in terms of funding compared to the previous week, as venture capitalists pumped in more money, even as the funding size became smaller. VCs pumped in $75 million across 13 deals this week, compared to the $37 million in the previous one. Prominent deals include the funding raised by FirstCry from existing investors in Series D, though the amount was smaller than the previous round of funding. The startup consolidation continued as Oyo Rooms completed the acquisition of Zorooms and Topper acquired Munch. In terms of key trends, 3 things stood out. K Capital raised $30 million for its second round, and Systema launched a $50 million fund to back Indian startups. The second trend is how incubators continue to sprout. The 2 new ones this week are one by Rajasthan State's RICO and HCL Tech's IoT incubator. The third trend is the downsizing and closure. While PepperTap shut in 6 cities, Frankly Me has shut down its entire service. Till next week, keep it with ET Now's Startup Central for all the funding action.
On to another big story now. Startups are a happy lot, Chandra, thanks to TRAI's final order on differential data pricing that came as a welcome relief for all the net neutrality supporters. What is Facebook's biggest rival Google's take on the verdict this week? I caught up with Google India's top boss, Rajananandan, and started off by asking him about the challenges to providing internet access to the whole country. Listen in.
Next, let's say 200-300 million users, going from 350 million internet users to, let's say, 600 or 700 million internet users. The current set of technologies, 3G, 4G, to some extent fiber actually will scale. But, if you want to go beyond that and get to 1.2, 1.3 billion users, we are going to need radically different sets of technologies. So we're very excited about, let's say, Loon, which is the Google project. Yes. We put balloons up in the sky, deliver internet through that, or other players like companies like Facebook, Microsoft have different sets of technologies. So we will need disruptive technology. And then, so that's one, which is how do you get people connected? But then the other problem is how do, for the people that are already connected, how do we give them true broadband? And I think their Wi-Fi is going to play a big role. And as you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we launched Mumbai Central Wi-Fi. Yes. That's going exceptionally well. Yes. And we need to have, we need to become a land of Wi-Fi. And, we are now pretty convinced that we need to have pervasive Wi-Fi and ideally try to make it free and find ways to make it free.
All pervasive Wi-Fi, free, Facebook. I have to ask you this. Free Basics has been given the boot in the country. TRAI's regulations has elicited a variety of reactions across the board. Startups are happy, telecom companies are not. What is your take?
Look, I think I don't want to comment on a specific program, right? But I do think Google has always been for net neutrality, and we strongly believe that the internet should be open and free.
So would you say that with these recommendations that India sort of sets the benchmark for net neutrality across the world? Because a lot of people say that as well.
Look, I think net neutrality is a pretty broad topic, right? Fast lanes, slow lanes. I think this particular tri-consultation paper was on one very specific set of issues. I think there are many other issues when it comes to net neutrality. And I think the most important thing for India is let's make sure that the internet is open and free. And this is going to be a long-term thing that all of us are going to have to work on. Let's continue to work on it.
All right. What about Google? From these regulations, does Google benefit from it or not?
Look, I think our mission is to connect 1.2 billion Indians, right? And I think it's important that as the largest democracy in the world, the second largest internet market in the world, that all Indian users get to access the open internet, right? So anything that encourages an open and free internet is something that we are excited about.
From Google's all-important reaction there to the differential pricing verdict to a story that I'm sure Krishna can use in a big way. We are curating a list of all the exciting offers online to really ring in Valentine's Day. I can tell you that my inbox has been spammed this week with a range of offers from e-commerce companies, from consumer internet companies, from cab aggregators, travel sites. The list is endless, but we have Rahul who's put together this list that you can use.
Valentine's week is here, and leaving your special someone surprised year on year can be quite a task. If you haven't shopped yet, get over flowers and chocolates as a whole bunch of offers await you online. From adventure sports to massive discounts on jewelry, clothes and even bikes, it really can't get better. Here are some options that are not only light on your wallet but will also help you leave a mark on that special someone. If you're an adventure freak and want to get over cliched candlelight dinners, Ola is offering exciting adventure sporting options for free. Hail a cab on the 14th in select metros and you just might get lucky. Discounts continue to reign on e-commerce websites, but offers only get better this Valentine's season. While Myntra has an extra 35% discount, Amazon and Snapdeal have heavy discounts across categories like fashion, mobiles, perfumes, books and everything else. Paytm has gone a step further and is offering massive cashbacks on price tags and categories like even bikes. While sale seasons are quite common on e-commerce websites, Valentine's Day helps companies connect with youngsters who are their biggest consumer base. While working one's way through offers online can leave one confused, we hope the list we've curated for you helps you choose that perfect gift for your loved one. With Rahul in Bengaluru, Sonali Krishna, ET Now.
Some exciting offers in store. I'm not sure how many of them would be useful to me, but certainly some of them are definitely going to be useful to me. But on that note, we're talking about Paytm giving Valentine's Day offer. Let's get another player in that space. FreeCharge's CEO and founder Kunal Shah, who says that they are more focused on getting their existing customers to stay rather than acquiring new ones. He also believes that the discounting model has to go away and that cashbacks are the way forward. Here's a slice of that candid chat that I had with him.
We've launched with a couple of merchants which we announced publicly, McDonald's and Shoppers Stop, but the platform is already live on Snapdeal and FreeCharge. We are adding like 1 million customers a week already. But the reason we are not accelerating the space of just getting more customers because we want them to stick, like you asked the question. I think the game is not about acquiring customers but making them transact and stick to you quite often. So I think we are in a good place over there. We are seeing a lot of good traction. Most interestingly is that we are seeing the consumers transact across all platforms on a far more regular basis.
Talk to us about how you plan to leave your mark when it comes to brand partnerships.
So first of all, brand partnerships is not a new thing for FreeCharge. When we launched our journey, we had 300 great coupon partners, which are the same retailers we are going and doing payments with. In a way, what we are doing is trying to make that promotions journey a lot more seamless. I think any payments company will win only when it helps the ecosystem and not just helps itself. What we are doing is focusing on the merchants, ensuring that they win. without focusing on the merchants, I don't think any wallet story or any payment story goes anywhere.
What is Features planning to do on the offline front?
If you notice, our partnership that we announced are actually offline partnerships. McDonald's, Shoppers Stop are actual offshore partnership. I think the answer is very simple. Large part of consumption is still offline. Online is very, very new. But the pain to pay is offline and online, right? Today, right from when you talk about giving cash to receiving change to like all the other pains that we go through in terms of the digital payments are not something that has been resolved, right? The merchants acceptance being a problem, merchants kind of accepting all payment methods and so on and so forth. So we want to make sure that this is easier than cash. None of the current payment methods, including FreeCharge in current form, is not easier than cash.
Talk to us about FreeCharge. How will it stand out in the kind of crowded space that it's there? And more importantly, how well funded are you?
So I think every time a new player walks in, we hear a new wallet company launch every week. I think it's making the main category more popular. And I think it's we welcome more wallets to join the thing so that the core wallet players become more popular. In terms of capital, if capital could be enough, we would have won everything in this country. Capital is not enough. Innovation is a bigger thing that one needs to focus on.
2,000 crore rupees is what you've earmarked for cashbacks and promotions. Is that the way forward in the online space? Because even retailers are moving away from the discount model, right? So is cashbacks the way going forward?
So it's a very good question. So first of all, let's understand one thing, that when you spend cashbacks to create trials, and if you can create a user behavior that is irreversible, it's a money well spent.
Money well spent is the word coming in from Kunal Shah of FreeCharge. And with that, it's time now for our special segment, Starstruck. It is Friday, and today we have actor John Abraham in conversation about maintaining financial discipline and, more importantly, his grand plans on investing in startups. Take a look.
I'm kind of an old school believer in real estate, and I think property always appreciates, and that's where I park my funds, some of my funds. Then equity-based mutual funds, I think that's important. Outside of that, I think if you can take advantage of the LRS scheme, then it's important that you park some funds legally out of this country, because with the inflation and the rupee getting weaker, it's always safer to have a little of your money parked overseas. So I think it's important for all those people, and you don't need to be an HNI, a high net worth individual, really to do that. You just got to be smart to do that, and you've got to understand how you need to save money. So I don't spend. Fortunately for me.
You don't spend, John, really. Look at the way you're dressed. You're invariably impeccably dressed. I'm sure you're somebody who takes very good care of himself. What do you mean you don't spend?
Well, I spend on health. Okay. So when you spend on health, then the rest is easy. Then even your old clothes look good on you. So, so I really don't. I'm not I'm very careful with the money I spend. 1 rupee is still 100 paisa for me, and I'm very cognizant of what's going on in the market in terms of prices of vegetables or eggs or sugar, etc. I keep asking, because it's important. My electricity bills. So we all have to be really careful. So from that angle, I'm not really a big spender. I'm not really a film star. I lead a very frugal lifestyle, and that's also because of my middle class upbringing.
Startup boom in this country, is been the talk of the town. There is a startup policy coming up next week. Tech startups have mushroomed, so well. What is your take? You're a film producer. You're an entrepreneur yourself. Will John Abraham be willing to partake in the startup boom in the country?
In fact, I forgot to really speak about that. But one of the questions you asked, and where I'm parking my funds, is I'm looking at two routes. One is either look at tech startups and invest in seed capital, or look at PEs and invest in stage 2 or stage 3. And that's probably one of the most important main focuses of my expenditure.
Very candid John Abraham over there, and he wants to invest in startups. So startups, you have a brand new man to fund your dreams. On that note, it's time now for our app meter powered by App Annie. And this week we take a look at the top trending gaming apps on both iOS as well as Android. There you go. On Google Play Store, the top gaming apps are Traffic Rider, Candy Crush Saga at number 2 position, and Subway Surfers. I love that game. That's coming in at number 3 for the last week. Top 3 gaming apps on the Google Play Store. Time now for the top 3 gaming apps on the iOS platform. 2 Dots on the top spot over there, and there's Racing in Car at number 2, and Candy Crush Saga again featuring in the top 3 list in iOS. So certainly Candy Crush Saga's popularity has not waned at all. So featuring on both iOS as well as Android's top 3 gaming apps for the week, powered by App Annie. Chandra.
Right, final segment of the day, number crunch, and the number we are crunching for you today is $26.05. Why is that significant? Because that's the new low that crude oil has touched this week, marking the latest of many lows it's touched in the last few months, and this is a 13-year low. Krishna, I was just looking for what else is available for $26. There's obviously quite a lot. And the thing that I saw immediately is that you could get 2 Domino's pizzas in the US for $26. So I guess that really gives you some perspective on where crude is heading, if I don't know where the bottom really lies.
Neither do I, Chandra, but a barrel of crude oil is worth 2 Domino's pizza. I think that analogy sort of puts into perspective the kind of lows that crude oil has hit across the world. Almost no certainty in terms of what kind of a bounce back it will have. No signs of a production cut announcement from OPEC. But that number, $26 worth 2 Domino's pizzas, is also worth a barrel of crude oil. On that note, we wrap things up here on ET Now Startup Central. Thank you so much for watching, but keep watching ET Now, because coming up next is Market Watch.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.